assalamu alaikum, good morning, khush aamdeed, ji ayanu, goeiemorgen, Ishbata.
Pocheragele, ni hao, Chunusume, Washbale, Ohio, Gozaimes, Guten Morgen, Hola, Boyor, Privyet, Kaifahal, Hale Shuma Chatore, Ahlan Wasalan Marhaba, Buna, Mucho, Gracias, Swabia, Balli Kareaya. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into PTV. While you watching World this morning, alongside the one and only, the very fantastic, the very superb, the very amazing, the very exuberant, the very talented, the very dashing, the very super amazing speaker, ladies and gentlemen. She is Miss Shiza Hashmi, and I happen to be Shahzad Hassan Khan, and we hope that everybody out there is doing wonderfully fine and well. How are you, Shiza?
I'm great, thank you so much, and even better after just listening to my introduction.
Wow, that's
As
wonderful.
always, thank you so much.
Wow.
I have a question though. So in the greetings that we make, especially early in the show, which one happens to be in Sindhi? I'm asking for a
Bhalli
reason.
Kareaya.
Right?
Yeah.
It's such a weird thing, Shahzad. You won't believe it. So I dreamt I was meeting a Sindhi person. I don't know them. It was anonymous. And I just meet them and I'm like, Balli Kareaya, Dado Sutors, you know, something like that.
Dado Sutto.
And you know what they said to me in my dream, of course? They're like, this is not Sindhi. I was like, my co-anchor taught me this is Sindhi. He was like, you need to learn Sindhi. And I feel embarrassed ever since then.
well, you know, there's a very funny incident behind how I actually got hold of this word itself.
Okay.
So I was doing this show on PTV Sports, and you know, since I say that G Ayanu Pakhair Ragle, almost all the cultural languages we have over here and the provincial languages as well. So I got a call from somewhere in Karachi, and the person actually emphasized and said that you have said your hellos and highs in almost every language, but you missed out on Sindhi. So it's like, okay, if you're going to teach me, how to actually say, good morning in Sindhi, I will actually be pleased. I would be pleased to say so as well. So that's when he actually taught me Bhalli Kareaya is actually how you welcome somebody. And so here it is, ladies and gentlemen, we are actually making sure and we're trying that nobody out there actually feels left out as well.
Absolutely.
And I think that this is our responsibility as well. Shiza, what do you do, to make sure that everybody is, or everybody has the interest within whatever you do, so that nobody feels left out?
As in, like the type of content we present in the show. So I think, Shahzad, the creative process that we do for the show includes actually both of us along with our entire team. Because whatever we bring forth, we try to cater to what the masses want to listen to first of all. We do realize that, well, we are a little too informative and educational early in the morning, and people do like to see something fun or entertaining. But I guess whatever the message, the type of message that we want to put across, I hope it does get to you guys as well. And what are you laughing at?
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I was just thinking about the PSL match which actually took place yesterday as well. I think it was nail-biting, it was exciting, and this is the kind of fun we were looking for as well. It was Karachi Kings versus Islamabad United. Karachi Kings batting first gave a target of 196 runs, which, ladies and gentlemen, is really a tough target. And Islamabad, on the other hand, achieving it was something which was, I couldn't just believe my eyes. Every other ball, it was a sixer or a four as well, and it was the match was so action-packed, ladies and gentlemen, that since you vouch for Islamabad and Multan as well, so I think Islamabad is actually going to save you from all of that embarrassment Multan is facing these days, because Multan, it was really hard for them in the few last matches as well. But Islamabad, wonderful job done. What beautiful partnerships we got to see, and even at the same time, I think Karachi really need to focus on their bowling, because they couldn't really get their hands onto the Islamabad United players as well, even though that we lost a couple of wickets in the first few overs, but I think we managed to play well.
Right. So I didn't watch the match actually, but I got to get my hands on to all the details on Twitter, because, well, Pakistan actually has a lot to be proud of. And of course, sports, and then cricket being one of the things, and then PSL being one of the most, well, I mean, the most popular things we're proud of lately.
The most popular
brands as well. But other than that, Shahzad, I mean, there are so many other things that Pakistan is proud of. Let's talk in terms of arts. The type of artists actually we do have over here. And what really inspires me is that all of them actually have a different expression of their human nature. I mean, art is definitely expression of human nature, right? So if we talk about theater, or if we talk about film for that matter, if we talk about music for that matter, we have had hundreds of people on the show talking about their art. And every time, Shahzad, we are blown away by the kind of work they do, because again, like I said, there's so much to be proud of. It's just amazing. So today, today again, we are trying to actually bring out the best of the art that we have over here in the studio, and you guys must have come across the work they put forth. This time, usually we do music, but this time we thought let's be in conversation with some of the people who produce the visual art that comes to your screens and then, well, takes you on a journey of your own.
Exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we're actually going to speak about filmmaking over here in Pakistan as well, and how, you know, our film producers are actually contributing to the international cinema as well. But talking about films, I think that, you know, the very idea behind today's show was that, you know, since it was COVID, and you know that for all of the films which went into production never came to the screen for another year.
Right.
I think it was even difficult for the producers. So today we're actually going to be in conversation with producers as in how to curb or probably how to manage, you know, because
right.
there's such a delay, the cinemas haven't opened up. And even if they're going to open up, I don't think that it's going to be filled with people, even if they're going to be a new release. And it's just because of the fact that everybody is still very scared of going
The
to the
paranoia
cinema.
is
Yeah, and
persistent.
you know, following all SOPs. Nobody would actually want to wear a hazmat and then watch or probably go into the cinema as well, because that's not the right experience you're going to pay for. So what to do, how to curb, you know, this problem, and then what are how are they contributing to the international cinema is something which we really need to talk about. And the reason is because now we have Netflix, we have Amazon Prime, we have so many other platforms that the films are getting released, but really every producer is looking to make some money out of it. Is that true? Is something which we'll be asking from our amazing guests over here in the studios, ladies and gentlemen. First up, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by a film producer, director, and actor himself, wearing a very amazing suit. He is Tariq Mahmood Awan Saab. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Very kind of you. Alongside Tariq Saab, ladies and gentlemen, we've actually been joined by somebody who happens to be from San Francisco. He's a doctor in Rio, and he is Dr. Hassan Z. He's a film producer and a director. Hello. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Saab. How are you?
Good morning. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum and thank you very much, Dr. Saab, for joining us. Wonderful to have you. So you spent 5 years almost, you know, to do your MBBS, and then eventually you realize, okay, you know what, probably I should leave it behind and move on to making films. Is that
Well,
true?
I have not left it.
Okay.
Oh, are you practicing?
Yes, I'm a practicing doctor.
Oh, amazing.
Wow.
So basically what happened was that, you know, since I was a kid, I was very interested in film. And
I thought you were going to say playing doctor.
so
Yeah.
my parents were kind of like, you know, every parent wants their kid to be a doctor or
Right.
Yeah.
engineer and, you know, all that Pakistani thing.
Exactly.
So I was 26 when I became a doctor, and then I
Okay.
went to Lahore, and I met Hassan Askari and Sayyid Noor and Babar Ali and these actors. And so, but I saw that the filmmaking was kind of like it was closing up. So there was only like few films being made. So I was kind of disappointed. So I thought, okay, I'm going to make my own ways. I'm going to go to America and make my own movies.
Okay.
So I have already made 4 feature films.
Exactly.
Yes.
And my films have been released in theaters all over USA, and they have won awards.
Yes.
And right now I did a film which was called Good Morning Pakistan.
Yeah, I saw the trailer.
And that film won the Best Feature Film Award in San Francisco Film Festival. And now it is being taught in American universities.
Amazing. That's really interesting. But I have to stop you right there, Doc Z. I'm going to call you that because your YouTube channel says so. Because we have the trailer with us right now. Let's share it with the audiences, and then
Yeah.
we'll come back and talk about it.
Go
Absolutely.
ahead, take a look.
हुआ था और मुझे आज तक नहीं पता कि पाकिस्तान कैसा है। मैंने एक फैसला किया है।
कैसा फैसला?
मुझे पाकिस्तान देखना है।
पाकिस्तान जाने का ख्याल अपने दिल से निकाल दो।
अब मुझे भी तो बताए ना, मैंने रोना है या हंसना है या यूं ही सारी जिंदगी दरमियान में रहना है।
Salam Pakistan or Good Morning
Interesting.
Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen. It was a trailer from Dr. Z's, one of the film he's actually produced as well. So, Dr. Saab, talking about all of this, I think what is more important to know now is that for all of the film producers who are out there, since the pandemic has hit, I don't think that anybody would want to invest within our circle, and the reason is that obviously the return won't be coming anytime sooner. So, what do you think will be your advice for all of those people who are affiliated with the film industry?
First of all, I would say that, the art of film is such an amazing, it's a passion. A lot of arts are passion.
Yes.
So the thing is that when we go out or we buy a house or we buy, like, I like to ride horses and I buy a horse. So it's the same thing. A film is a passion.
Okay.
So you should spend your own money
Yeah.
to make a film and let the world know. So basically my films, I spend more than $200,000 on a film and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
And
Again, because it's your passion, right?
yes, it is my passion. And to achieve something in your passion, you have to put your money. And then once it's accepted, and then you go from there. So the thing is that whenever I was here and I was talking to people about money part, the first things comes in Pakistan is like, how much money I'm going to make out of something. Hey, it's a passion.
Yeah.
Make something, show the world what you can do.
Dogsy, I believe that's true, but over here in Pakistan, even things have changed. I think that, every producer is almost spending $1 million or $2 million over here in Pakistan to make a film. And, whenever we're going to talk about, okay, $200,000, that will unintentionally take us to the kind of production you've brought forward onto the cinema screen as well. We'll come back to this point as well, but I want to move on to Tariq Saab. Tariq Saab, thodi setting, thoda pyar, everything was good. You were here last year as well. The songs were shot really nice and very amazing, and you were very hopeful that the film will be coming soon to the theaters. But it has taken us another year, and we're still over here for somebody who's such an eloquent producer, just like you. Don't you think it is a little troublesome?
Yeah, it's quite tragic, but I think it's with everybody else in the world. It's not us alone. COVID has hit.
I think not with people in New Zealand, though.
Lucky ones.
Yeah, COVID has hit almost everywhere.
Exactly.
So that's quite understandable.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, like, there are quite a few films lined up, and they need to be released. When cinemas open, I mean, it's good in a way that when cinemas, there was no continuity on cinema, like, and we are not showing Indian movies anymore, so cinemas were really suffering. However, I'm also hearing news that cinemas are closing down, so that will definitely affect the films very badly. But let me talk about where I'm coming from. I'm not kind of working here.
Obviously.
I'm also working abroad, and I can't name my organization. It is organization's policy, but yeah, me too. It's more about personal fulfillment than actually making money. So I was also, like, during school times, I was an actor, and I used to write scripts, etc. We used to do stage and stuff. And those days, film was, as Doc said, we were in crisis. But now it is emerging. I think it's the right time to come into this industry.
Right.
But at the same time, I think it's not about releasing movies and making money. It's more about, I think, what is important, that we need to bring universality in our scripts, and we need to bring them to an international arena. That's kind of topic of our discussion.
Absolutely, and that is very important. We'll get to that as well. But Tariq Saab, do you feel like, because you had all this time on your hand, unfortunately, or luckily, let's just say, maybe you had all the time to probably review the content that you were going to put out, and were you getting any more ideas of what to correct or what to add to what you had already made, or any changes you wanted to make to it? Take your time to think about it, because right now we're going to share your trailer with the world, okay? Let's do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so this is a trailer from me, Thodi Setting, Thoda Pyar, and yeah, I think you need a little bit of setting for a little bit of love. Let's go, let's take a look.
Let's do it.
ना हम रुके ना तुम
right, ladies and gentlemen. So that was, I think, a little glimpse,
Teaser, not
or a
actually.
teaser of Thodi Setting, Thoda Pyar. And now moving back to Tariq Saab as well, because he even mentioned that he's been contributing to the international cinema as well. So, sir, first things first, obviously, when we talk about international cinema, it's very vast, it's very big, it's huge. Everybody wants to be a part of it as well. And somewhere, when you take a look at it from the outside, it looks like that it is difficult to get into it as well. How did you get into it in the first place?
Let me address the first
Yes, please.
question, which was.
If you had, because you had so much time, did you like change
Yes,
anything in the movie?
Yeah, that allowed me to
Review,
perfect it
yes.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have been reviewing and making some changes. So yeah, film is never finished.
Right.
But this cost element of it, you keep spending
Yeah.
until you throw your product in the market. So that also happened. Now, no, I've not contributed to international cinema so much. As I said, this is my first film, and it is more about the passion. But I was talking more about the universality in our script.
Of the content.
Of the content. The content we choose, it should have kind of international appeal, and this is what I have tried in my script, which is if there is one dimension which Doc was talking about, like showing Pakistani culture, introducing Pakistani culture to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And there is another dimension that we bring content to the market, which is internationally acceptable. The most important thing is that India is making let's say like India is making generating a lot of hard currency from the film industry, and I think there is a lot of scope there out there for Pakistani films as well. So I think what is important that we try to create contents which has a universal appeal and
We cater to the international audiences.
which can get to international audiences, and as well as the Pakistanis abroad, they should be able to identify themselves with it.
Wow.
Do you agree, Doxy, with it? Sorry, Dr. Hassanti. Keep saying that.
Well, he has made a great point. What I would say is that rather than copying India, I would rather go and do my own art movies. Because
Okay.
the thing is that India is such a huge country,
Yeah.
and their industry is so flourished, like they spend millions of dollars, and even like just in one province, they can they have so many different film industries.
Yes.
They can even make one film just in one province and
Yeah.
get the money back.
Exactly.
We cannot afford that. Our film industry has not been supported by our government or other organizations. So what we need to do is we need to create our own art. We need to, so I have studied Italian cinema, I have studied French cinema,
Okay.
I have studied German expression cinema, and Iranian cinema.
Oh,
So
beautiful.
I think that we should be creating a different niche of cinema, which is going to be only here, and then we spend less money,
Okay.
make more films, and then try to bring the money back and keep continuing, because we cannot afford to go what India is doing.
Okay, so this is my
I
opinion,
sort of do
and I'm
agree.
going to disagree over
Okay.
here, and I'm sorry that I'm going to disagree. Yes, Tarisa, I'm going to come back to you as well. I'm going to give you a fair chance as well. And that is now, what I believe is that for I think last 5 decades or 6 decades that the film industry has been there, from our parents, where they actually had to hide their VCR from their fathers as well. I think that they have always been very, I think that the Indian film industry has been very relatable for us as well, because we share the same culture, same norms almost, and same values, other than the religion. And when we talk about Indian cinema, I think that, we grew up, each and every one of us grew up watching those films as well. The first ever film you might have watched wouldn't have been Pakistani. That's something which I can bet on, probably. It wasn't a Pakistani film for me. So I think we have to be honest. And if they're generating or making or creating content which people are loving, why shouldn't we copy them? I don't see that there's any harm. I think what we need to do is that there's only, research says it, 4 or 5% people who have genuine ideas. And the rest, if they want to be successful, they need to know how to copy it first. Moving on to Tariq Saab.
Yeah, I think I couldn't make my point clear.
Yeah.
And that's why Doc took it in a different direction. The thing is, I'm totally against copying any content.
Yeah, obviously.
That's not the intention.
But being inspired is something else.
In art, where there is a way, it is somebody else's way.
Exactly.
You have to create your own path. But you see, I was talking in terms of business proposition,
Exactly.
and especially bringing hard currency for Pakistan. But I'm not in favor
And making
of
it relevant to the audiences.
exactly. So I was talking about more of bringing universality into. One is that unique niche which Doc is working on, but when you come to commercial movies, you know, there are set standards in the world now to which
Which
a
you have to
movie
follow.
should meet,
Yes.
and so you have to meet those set standards in the world, and the movie should be of the quality which can generate revenue abroad. I mean, we need
That's
it
right.
very much. In Pakistan, the production sector is much lower,
Alright.
and consumer or the users are much bigger.
And people are even going taking their films to China now. You know, it's such a big market.
True.
Yeah.
True. And
Well,
I think also Arab countries,
Yeah.
they can be of a big market. Like I've been to Africa and Arab countries. I've worked in all these quite a few African
on,
countries and
Qatar,
Arab
UAE,
countries, and they love Indian content.
Yeah.
And in terms of culture, we have affinity towards them as well. So it's a big market we need to tap into. So I think we need to think big and execute big.
All
Yes,
right.
I was.
Yes.
I'm sorry to
No problem.
interrupt you. I was not talking about like you were going to
We got it, we got it, we got it, yeah.
something. What I was talking about was that the number of people in India is such a huge industry, and the people over there, and they have a trend set. Like people go into the theater
Yeah.
to watch the films, and we
Theatre
don't
culture.
have that over here.
Absolutely.
But if you remember that even from 1947 forward, for 30 years, Pakistani cinema was able to survive on its own. We did not need
This is what I
Indian
wanted
movies.
to talk about, Dr. Z. You know, you said 30 years. I can't, of course, recall that. But where Shahzad said, no, I'm getting
Even
to
I
that
cannot
later.
recall that.
Where
Well,
Shahzad
Well,
said that.
my first film which I saw was Arman, Wahid Murad and Zeba. So
Wow.
I
I
watched
never
Aina.
saw
I have
Indian
watched-
movies,
Yeah.
you know, when I was a
good.
kid.
But
Wow,
here's
wow,
my
wow.
take on
Oh,
it.
when you grow up, you did, right?
Yeah, so here's
Yeah,
the thing.
later I did.
So,
But I still
rather
don't
than-
like to watch Indian cinema. I would, when I come on the Emirates
I mean, there's
Airlines,
no
I
harm.
watch
don't-
Pakistani
Let's not
cinema.
put boundaries to art. That's what my concept is. Why are we
But
putting boundaries
here's the
to
thing,
art? You know,
Shahzad.
there
But
This
I
is what
want
we-
to have my own. I want to have Pakistani identity. When I'm in America, you know, my American friends, they talk about, do you have Pakistani films? So
Yeah.
that's what I want to show them. I don't want to show
So
them
this is,
Indian
you
movies.
guys, this was my next question if you let me. So here's the thing. I understand what you're saying, and I totally sort of agree with you where you think that we should pick our own
Today she
niche.
has to be loud, man.
I have to be, you guys.
I'm
I mean,
sorry.
okay, but well, us growing up watching Indian movies, I'm sorry to say this on state TV, has a lot to do with our parents restricting us from watching
Films.
from watching something violent in Punjabi and obscene in I don't want to watch Majajan as compared to something else. You know,
Chudiya?
there's a I haven't watched it.
Okay.
So there's a huge difference in the content. So my question to you both, being a part of the film industry, is what is Pakistani niche? Because you talk about Iranian films, that's a particular niche, right? Now K-drama is something. I allow my teenage sisters to only watch K-dramas now. It's interesting. The culture is nice. So what is Pakistani niche? You
Well,
start.
Yes. So what we have to do is, from the very beginning, our cinema was more family oriented.
Okay.
When we sit in the house, or even when we go into the cinema, if you want to bring our family with us, the people want to be very comfortable, and that is a very Pakistani thing.
Okay.
Even when I'm you know, in American San Francisco, Indians have a little liberal kind of upbringing, and
Okay.
they can sit together and watch
Of course.
Indian cinema at home or in the theater. But Pakistani, you know, we are still kind of, we have our own culture, we are a little shy, we don't want to see certain
But we
things
would
in...
want to see it when we are all by
Secretly.
ourselves as well, right?
Yeah,
Or
but-
mom and dad would actually lock you out of the room and be like, hey, you know what, you're not allowed to enter the room, we're watching a film. Ah, wow, yeah. That's
But-
interesting.
Okay, about the niche, I think like, I mean, you talk of Hollywood, what niche they have.
Yeah.
They produce.
They're selling the American dream.
Yes, they're producing for all kind of audience, for all kind of, you know, art,
Yeah.
there's an audience. I think we need to broaden ourselves, and we need to produce all kind of contents for different type of audience. So I mean, we should not limit ourselves. I mean, I talked about universality, and we have to meet those standards, and we have to stay in those sphere. If you go back, those days it was more. I mean, like our industry was doing very well, but then there were certain events happened in the history of Pakistan which limited the cinema, and then. You know,
Obviously.
That was a huge,
Of course,
setback to our cinema. But our cinema can come back to it, and I think that's what everybody is trying to do. And this is like, as Doc was saying, it's a passion, and passionate people will keep coming and keep trying. But there are a lot of hurdles, there are a lot of difficulties for people like Z and me when we come from outside. You know, we don't have connections, and in Pakistan, nothing happens without connection. And,
Yes, that is true.
and you know, for simple NOC to shoot within Islamabad, it took me 3 months to get it. And you know, there are a lot of hurdles.
Yeah, there are challenges, and yes, obviously we're going to dedicate one program towards challenges as well. But since we're very short on time today, sir, there's one last question which I wanted to ask before we wrap up this segment, and that is that how do you see the feasibility part of it? Because over in Pakistan, we are only home to more than 80 screens only. And, you know, for any film producer, he would want his film to be, you know, elsewhere and all over the world as well. Because speaking about it, there were these stats, and they're way older. They are, I believe, are from 2008 or 9. That when an Indian film is released, it's being released on 3,000 different screens all over the world. When a film from Hollywood is being released, it's being released on more than 1,800 screens all over the world.
18,000, I would say.
1,800 it is, because we're talking about an international release.
Okay.
And when we come down to Pakistan, imagine that we are keeping our films to ourselves in the first place, and that to only 80 screens. So how do we beat the feasibility mark?
You see, I have, as I'm saying, I've lived abroad quite a few countries, and I've come across Indian community a lot. Film is part of their culture, and film, they see it on cinema only.
Yeah.
Here in Pakistan, people are saying, "Oh, jab TV pe aayegi dekh lenge." You know, that's a very unfortunate proposition. Film is not made to be watched on TV. It has a lot of effects. That impact you can only feel in cinema. You cannot feel that impact at home.
At home.
So the film, people have to, so it has to become a part of culture. Again, you see, like, we are kind of stuck into halal and non-halal thing. And, you know, we don't want to, you see, like, we all love music, but we don't want to produce music ourselves. We just go to the cinema, and we like stars,
Okay.
but we don't want to be identified ourselves as singer or whatever, because it's culturally not that acceptable. So the acceptability of
Needs to be
arts
there.
needs
Right.
to improve for
Right.
film to.
I think it's wonderful as well, and thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us. It was wonderful to have you, and I think that this is the crux of it, ladies and gentlemen, that the acceptability needs to be out there as well. And I think that Tariq Saab and Dr. Z has actually hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, and Shazad, you know what I absolutely love about film and cinema is that there are no boundaries. So, for example, I mean, it's not just your story or it's not just books that can be turned into films. For example, Sonic the Hedgehog or Tomb Raider for that matter, or Assassin's Creed for that matter. There are movies based on games. So basically, there's a scope for everything. Now, this is something we need to take forward in the next segment as well. Movies based on games or just games probably. So stay tuned to find out what we will be talking about. Good morning. Welcome back to well this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the slip of tongue. I was just sipping my
It
coffee.
wasn't really a slip of tongue, it was a stuck of tongue.
That too. But so here's the thing, we're going to be
yeah.
talking, it's okay, we're going to be talking about gaming, yes, because we're so short in time, I just want to wrap my introduction up. It's an entirely different world for the people who want to be invested in it, for gamers who are around 2.8 billion right now in the world. Imagine the market, Shazad, and imagine the people who want to cater to the market.
Exactly, ladies and gentlemen. So from out of 7 billion total population of the globe, roughly,
Yes.
2.8 billion people are actually
Gamers.
Are gamers. And not just that, you know, I think that I will give you a very simple example, and that
Okay.
is that there was a time when we wanted to play Atari and Sega and all of those
I
platforms
was
which
just
we
on
had
Mario.
then. And then we moved on to PlayStation and Xbox, and you know, so there's just a vast variety of all of these platforms which are available. But not just that. Imagine that now people are actually watching people playing games on these
Yes,
platforms.
live streams,
and
man.
live streams and whatnot. And I, alhamdulillah, happen to be one of those people who was the very first one in Pakistan over here to host some gaming live events
Yes,
as
I
well.
remember.
And that too on such a big scale that the 5 million, there was a 5 million cash prize for the winning team. And then there are people who've actually sponsored other people, and then they pay their players every month just because of the fact that they play for their brand as well. So esports is doing a wonderful job, ladies and gentlemen. It's more than $150 billion industry, and a lot of people are working on it. We are glad that, alhamdulillah, Pakistan is not even behind. We have a Pakistani entrepreneur over here in the studios who wants his chunk out of $150 billion of this gaming industry. Ladies and gentlemen, he is Mr. Rahil Iqbal. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Ji, assalamu alaikum ji. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much
Our
for joining us.
pleasure.
Wonderful to have you. So how much have you chucked away already? Is it 2 billion, 3 billion,
We're still
5
trying
billion?
our best. You still
Wow.
trying our best, definitely.
Alhamdulillah.
So as you said, it's a $150 billion industry, obviously.
Yes.
And out of that, mobile is on $80 billion right now. So things have changed actually. So previously you were talking about Atari and all those consoles. So it was like at that time you have to go purchase a console, install it, and then you were able to play it. But now after the introduction of the tablets and mobiles
Yes.
and Play Stores, so the gaming content, it's more like becoming a content now.
Exactly.
So it's available to everyone, anyone. People are playing all around. Even I was watching that the staff at the back and staff, they were playing Ludo. So this is something that everyone is playing
It's
games
such
all
a
the time.
distraction, right?
Or
It's-
even poker for that matter, you know, on cell phone as well. And
Yes, exactly.
I think talking about that, rather, you know, I think it's good because people usually used to play games with other people. Now I think that it's good that they're playing games on their cell phone. But I want to talk about the development bit of it, you know, that the world, you know, for anybody who wants his chunk within this industry needs to come into development. And over in Pakistan, we have a quite of leverages given to us by the government, you know, because when we speak about IT, you know, there quite a lot of relaxation which is given. But do you think that people are doing the right thing, that the right kind of content is being produced?
So basically, the thing is, if we talk about Pakistan, thing is that games are being developed since like 20 to 30 years. But Pakistan, the trend has now been shifted, I mean, recently, because we are a driven market. The thing is that, especially the IT industry, we are driven by the North America. So we get projects from there, and we develop games here. So the thing is,
Please let us know about these visuals we are playing as well.
yeah. So this is our office in Lahore, the GameStop Studios.
And you have an office in Karachi as well, right?
We have office in Karachi.
This reminds me of Mythic Quest. Have you watched it? It's a TV show. It's all about games. The people who produce it, you have to watch it.
Yes, exactly. So this is, so we have a team of software developers who are developing those games. We have a team of graphic designers, 3D modelers, animators,
Okay.
marketeers who are publishing those games. We have a team of monetization, the people who are monetizing all those games.
And this is such a, I mean, this is such a huge investment, not just in terms of money, of course, but your
In terms of
time,
talent,
your
actually.
talent,
Yes,
exactly.
actually.
And when you talk about graphic designers, animators for that matter, I take it that, of course, people are now learning art in forms of graphic design and, well, visual art. But when you talk about animation, just, I mean, it's a, like you said, it's just a growing industry in Pakistan. It's just few people coming into it. Are you satisfied with the type of group you have working for you?
Well, definitely, it's now talent is being groomed here.
Okay.
So the thing is that it's totally something which is cutting edge. all right?
Yes,
So you have to be very creative. You have to be up to the mark. You have to be working, like thinking especially out of the box. We are competing, sitting in Pakistan, we are competing with global players. We are competing with international industry. We are competing with studios, big studios who are developing games sitting in San Francisco and in Silicon Valley. So the thing is that like Pakistan, like developing a games development office in Pakistan is, it was not easy, but obviously you have
Isn't
to
it risky
keep,
still?
well, it's not that risky because the thing is that it's a growing industry.
Okay.
I mean, this year only the mobile will will cross $100 billion. So the thing is that if you focus right now, build your own talent, you know, build something which is obviously eye-catching,
Right.
because I mean, if you talk about the overall package which you need to have in games development, you need to have good teams. All right?
Yes, that's
You have cutting edge. You need to have talented software developers, animators, graphic designers. So the whole and time is very important.
Yeah.
You see, I mean, you have to release and publish your game very timely.
Exactly.
Okay, so sorry, Shazad, I'm cutting you over here, but I have a naive question again.
Yeah.
Now, when I look at not being a gamer, so my take on games is that there's only so much ideas you can come up with. So either you're already sort of stealing an idea and then modifying it, or either you're using a movie to turn it into a game, right? So there's only so much you can do. Do you think that's true?
Well, right now, gaming is something which people are using it, especially the box office industry. And that's a very interesting fact if you look at the numbers.
Yeah.
Box office industry right now is at $40 billion, the most entertaining industry you see. And as compared to gaming, it's way below. You know,
Way
gaming
below.
is $150 billion, and box office
Right.
$40 billion. So what they're doing is before they're releasing the movie, they release a game.
A small version
A
of it,
small
right?
version of a game that the movie is coming. So you see There were many movies, and you have all the games of the movies are also
Yes.
there. The thing is
Spider-Man,
about the
Hancock,
idea.
yeah.
Idea is something which is obviously the thing is the idea should be market driven.
Exactly.
Should come up with those ideas which users are playing. About this console, this is a very tricky console because mobile is something which is very simple. You see hyper casual games with just one touch of a thumb or finger, you can play the
Yes.
games.
Exactly.
So you have to because not like you don't have a joystick in your hand right now. So and you want to play games on the go while you're moving, while you're walking, while you're sitting. So the gameplay has to be very casual,
Exactly.
and you have to adapt the gameplay as per this console.
All
Exactly,
right.
and it's wonderful. I think that everybody needs to put their head to this as well, ladies and gentlemen, because it's we're glad that we have Rahil Sab over here, who happens to be one of the pioneer too as well. But going back in time, I still remember that when we would actually go and buy a CD for a game, we always had to be very careful about how many gigahertz of motherboard we had in our PC, or the RAM, and everything needs to be top notch. Talking about developing a game means that every now and then when the technology is changing, you have to adopt to the newer technology, and it involves a lot of cost. So how, since we have people and you have that team which you say is cutting edge, and there's no doubt in it that our kids from Pakistan are super.
Yes.
Majority of them are working in Silicon Valley already.
Already, yeah.
So don't you think that the cost can actually go up at times as well, and then there cannot be a ray of hope out there, because you really need to get projects constantly, otherwise you cannot be making a game every single day and be like, okay, it's going to be a hit.
Well, that's very, this is something which is
Your
pinching
Achilles
us
heel
every
right
day.
now?
It's a pinpoint. It's a
Yeah.
pain point we have
Okay.
right now. Obviously, we have to invest a lot on the infrastructure. We have to have really good machines. Like usually, our developers use Apple MacBooks. I mean, high-end MacBooks because
What else can bear that much? Well, I
So
don't
the
know.
thing is, you need to keep on investing. You
Yeah.
need to
Yeah,
keep on
every-
investing.
yeah.
Keep on investing on the talent. You need to keep on investing on the infrastructure. You need
Yeah.
to keep on. And the thing about Pakistan, all those machines are very expensive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I
What do you do?
think
Do you lease them? Do you buy them? What do you do? Or you okay, यार हम एक ले लेते हैं, फिर बाकी आहिस्ता
No,
आहिस्ता
but
करेंगे.
isn't there any relaxation for companies like yours by the government?
so. There should be some relaxation.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Okay.
right now there's no relaxation. We have built all those things on our own. We started Games from Studios back in 2010. Since then, yeah, since then, we keep on investing. We keep on grooming our resources. We keep
Okay.
on investing. So,
So how many
it's just a
games have you
gradual.
made so far, and how many have actually hit the international arena?
So all of them are live right now. We have developed so far more than 1,000 games, and right now we have almost 500 games live on Play Stores, and we have
that's
our
great.
own monetization platform, Console Ads, which is a good platform for monetizing your games as well.
What do you think sets well with the audiences or with the players for that matter? So, for example, when I was studying my journalism, we were continuously told to research on the impact of violent games on kids or on their behavior. And now the research says there's no such impact. Of course, it's an engagement, maybe it's an outlet of your anger, but there's no impact of violence on kids or something like that. But that sits perfectly well with the audiences. That is something everyone wants. What do you think?
No, but the thing is that if you need platforms to publish your games. Obviously, you're going
Yeah.
to Google Play or Apple App Store or any other platforms. All these platforms have policies.
Okay.
So all those policies, you need to be very compliant.
Okay.
So they're very particular about rating your game. So there are independent agencies which evaluate your game, and there's IRC ratings which rate your games, they test your games, and then they release it on particular, and then they give a rating. Is it 13 plus, 18 plus? It has violence or not? If it's too violent, you will not be able to publish your game.
But
Simple as that.
I think every kid is playing GTA, so I don't think that if
You
it
were
applies or
watching
not.
playing GTA.
But very quickly, before we miss out on this a very important point which you've raised as well, and you've raised it twice, the monetizing bit of it.
yes.
Because now, for all of those people who are actually playing, ladies and gentlemen, they're even getting paid for playing, right?
Yes,
That's what the
exactly.
concept is. So please share that concept, because we kind of missed out on that as well. So before we run out of time, please let us know. So how can we come onto that platform, and whatever time we're investing, we can actually earn something.
So that
Yes.
so the platform we have is it's monetization for the publishers who are developing game developers. You have a game, you have a product, you're publishing it. So the first challenge you're going to face is the visibility.
Okay.
So using our platform, you can promote your game. It will be cross-promoted. Its ad will be shown across the platform.
Every
so
time
you
I'm
will
on
be able to
YouTube, I
grab,
see those ads as
yeah,
well.
so you will be able to grab the users first of all. Then you will be able to monetize it perfectly. You can show your own in-app ads. You can show any other ad networks are working with top 15 to 20 ad networks globally. And they're able to deliver ads globally. You know, if
Mashallah,
someone is
that's
playing your
nice.
game in North America or South America or any part of the region, India, Bangladesh, Thailand, so whichever place your player is able to download your game and is playing, ad will be so you can monetize your content through ads and through in-app purchases.
And
Can
the
you
name
tell
of that
what's your
platform is
Console ads.
Console. Yeah.
Can you tell what's your biggest market?
So in terms of, so it's global. We publish our games globally.
Yeah, everywhere.
So it's depending on the genre in the game. So we have a farming game, which is a very big one, something similar
yes,
to
yes.
Farm Village we used to play
Yeah,
on Facebook.
Same.
Yes.
So it's region mostly in it's downloaded worldwide globally, T1, T2, T3 countries. Mostly it's from North America,
Okay.
Thailand, Indonesia is a big market where we are publishing those games. Malaysia and Canada, and then
Okay.
Central Europe.
Wow, that's wonderful, and we would love to congratulate. Thank you very much for tapping into this industry as well. And one last thing. So out of 1,000 games you've developed, how many downloads do you have?
Oh, billions right now. So
Billions?
yes,
Oh, that's
exactly.
wonderful,
Mashallah.
mashallah. So, ladies and gentlemen, it speaks volume about the success mashallah Mr. Raheel has actually got on his hands. And it's just because of the fact that he has invested all his time, energy, money into this one field, and he's kept at it as well, and he's done a wonderful job. We congratulate
Right.
you, and thank you very much for bringing pride to Pakistan.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And
Really
I
grateful.
think this
Thank you,
segment
Samina.
would have been very fruitful for all the parents watching out there, because I know a lot of kids go up to their parents and be like, we want to pursue this as a career, we want to study this. Well, this is definitely the field you should be open to right now. But if you still have any queries, do let us know on our Facebook page with the name of,
Well, this morning,
on Twitter,
well, this morning without a G.
YouTube.
Well, this morning,
Yes, and the repeat of the show you can
5
catch.
past midnight. But for all of those parents who are out there who do not let their kids play games on, all of these platforms, ladies and gentlemen, imagine that with this 200,000 rupee phone set, what if you can win 5 million rupees probably almost every month as well? I don't think that that's a bad idea. Please make sure that you let your kids strike a balance in between physical activities, gaming, education. I think that it's an open arena, ladies and gentlemen. Let them experience for themselves. Look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3.
Good morning. Take care.